You guys!
From being a real-life working cattle ranch to hilarious bloopers that will have your stomach in stitches, these are the best behind-the-scenes Heartland secrets nobody knows about.
We can't let that happen to her.
Here's a question that only the truest Heartland fans will know the answer to. Did you know that Heartland is actually shot on a working cattle ranch in Alberta, Canada? True story. The Heartland Barn and Ranch House are all part of a real-life working cattle ranch located in Millerville, Alberta. We know from Roy Foster, a member of the Foster family, aka the OG owners of the ranch, that his parents moved to the ranch in 1928 to raise white-faced, hair-forward cattle. Roy has had many fond memories growing up on the property with his two brothers. One of the brothers actually built the iconic Big Red Barn that's featured on the show.
We've got the Heartland Barn, which actually is a real barn, and it was here when we moved in here.
Today, the ranch is privately owned, and only the Heartland cast and crew have access. Can you imagine owning a ranch and a TV production showing up every day to shoot in your backyard? Pretty cool. Unfortunately, you can't visit the real Heartland Ranch, but you can visit other Heartland filming locations in Millersville though. For example, a very popular destination for die-hard Heartland fans is the Millerville Anglican Church. You might recognize the church from Lou's wedding in season 3. And while you're at it, you can visit the Millerville Farmers Market and racetrack, where all the horse racing and rodeo scenes are shot.
Come on, Amy!
Our next behind-the-scenes secret is heartbreaking and left everyone on set in tears. Everyone knows there's nothing stronger than a mother's love for her child, and the moment when Amy sings the song her grandpa wrote was enough to melt anyone's heart, even the toughest people. To say this scene gave everyone the chills would be an understatement. With its raw emotion, everyone on set felt Amy's beautiful voice, and anyone who's familiar with suffering a great loss could hear the pain in her voice. This was a powerful moment, and it felt so real that it had the cast and crew sobbing on set. While you can't see it on screen, this behind-the-scenes moment shows us just how deep a real Heartland can get, even off-screen. And since we're on the topic of heartbreaking behind-the-scenes secrets, we have got to talk about actor Amber Marshall, who portrays the main character, Amy Fleming. In 2021, Marshall opened up about the heartbreaking season 14 opener from 2019 after she received a phone call from Graham Wardle, who played the iconic Ty Borden. Marshall worked closely with Wardle for 14 years, and he had some unsettling news for his co-star. He was leaving the show. Turns out, Marshall knew Wardle was leaving before anyone else did, even before the showrunners knew. Writers were then forced to plan a satisfying exit for Wardle's character, in which he ultimately did in dramatic fashion. The relationship between Marshall's Amy Fleming and Wardle's Ty Borden was central to Heartland for over 14 seasons.
We have our own little family.
I love our little family. I do.
Can you imagine how hard it must have been for Marshall to keep this a secret? Acting on set every day, knowing her partner in crime was about to leave, Marshall definitely had to be strong for those few remaining days with Wardle. That had to be tough on her. Speaking of tough, here's another behind-the-scenes secret you probably didn't know about. This secret is also the reason why the show is so great and authentic. Did you know that most of Heartland's horses belong to the famous wrangler, John Scott? Scott is Heartland's head wrangler, responsible for coordinating all scenes involving horses, and he's the very definition of the word tough. Scott's career spans 5 decades, and Heartland is just one of the many projects the legendary wrangler has been a part of. It's safe to say he's made quite a name for himself in the film industry. Today, he's one of the most renowned actors, producers, wranglers, and stunt coordinators in the biz.
Hey, boy.
Believe it or not, he was also the head wrangler on the set of The Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, responsible for scenes involving hundreds of horses at the time. Pretty impressive, right? Clearly, Heartland was very lucky to snag this guy. We promised you the best behind-the-scenes Heartland secrets, and we always keep our word. Heartland's behind-the-scenes secrets don't get any better than this. I'm talking about Heartland bloopers and mishaps you had no idea existed. If you've ever watched Heartland, then you know there's a lot of kissing involved. I mean, how else could we grow so attached to our favorite character relationships? But did you know that those steamy scenes don't always go according to plan?
Love to, Peter.
sorry, I can't play Peter anymore.
For instance, in one scene, Amy explains to Ty that it's a new beginning for the couple. She leans in to kiss Ty, but he looks away. Not thinking anything of it, she continues, leaning in for the kiss, thinking he'll reciprocate. But her kiss awkwardly lands on the side of his mouth. Ty bursts out laughing, and Amy does the same. The moment's so hilarious that both actors simply can't hold each other as they continue to laugh until finally, Wardle has to walk away, saying, "Let's try this again."
Let's just try again.
Don't you just love an awkward, hilarious moment like this? I know I do. Speaking of kissing, in the bloopers, there's another scene where the two are supposed to kiss. Wardle is already into the kiss before he can finish his line and trails off. Marshall couldn't contain herself and laughs hard as he struggles to finish his line. I wonder what Wardle was thinking about in that moment. Whatever it was, it made the entire cast and crew crack up. Our next blooper also made the crew laugh out loud. In this specific scene, Chris Potter, who plays Tim Fleming, begins to say his lines, but out of nowhere, they turn into complete gibberish, and he forgets his lines. Rather than stop and start again, as any actor would normally do, he keeps talking gibberish and walks toward the back of the set. The cast and crew couldn't help but laugh, completely unsure of what just happened. He then comes back and a woman asks, "What was that all about?" And he says, "I don't know."
What was that about?
I don't know. Something's wrong.
This is one of those moments where an actor completely spaces out.
Hey, you see my green mug?
But we aren't mad about it. Otherwise, we would have never been blessed with this hilarious blooper.
Take care of it.
Forgotten lines and awkward kisses aren't the only things that have made the cast and crew of Heartland laugh until their stomachs hurt. Uncontrollable sneezing fits mid-sentence have that effect too. The scene in question shows Amy and Ty standing in the stables. In this season 15 episode, Amy begins saying something about the anniversary present Wardle bought her.
What it is, I think it's sweet. You bought me an anniversary present.
He then starts saying his lines, but out of nowhere, he starts sneezing uncontrollably. Marshall quickly ducks out of the shot, giggling as she is running away. Wardle continues sneezing, and Marshall just keeps on laughing. Wardle's sneezing fits have interrupted his lines quite a few times. I'm no allergy expert, but maybe he's allergic to horsehair? Whatever it may be, it sure was funny.
Yay, GG.
So, from the iconic Heartland Ranch being a real-life working cattle ranch, to downright hilarious bloopers that only made us love the cast even more.
Honey, why don't we,
I'm not comfortable with him like that.
Those were the best behind-the-scenes Heartland secrets nobody knows about.
She texted me at the airport vet office, and I'm laughing now because she texted to me.